So, how should developers approach continuous learning and skill advancement in such a fast evolving industry?
So that stay curious. Okay, don't look at programming as what do I need to know to be able to do what I need to do. Or because I had friends who, as soon as people find out I teach at a boot camp, or I tell them that I code. I've seen people get excited, like, oh, what's the minimum amount of information that I would need to know in order to be a successful developer? And it's like, if that's the way they look at it, I don't think it's going to work. Because you need to be the kind of person who likes to mess with things, I guess, like to toy around with stuff. Because if you don't have some level of curiosity or want to experiment with new things, it's not going to be easy. I mean, because you're going to have to force yourself through stuff. Now, I've seen people do that and succeed, but the reality is, in this industry, things change, and they change very quickly, and suddenly. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your boss is going to come into work one day and be like, all right, everybody, today we're going to start changing everything to this other framework or something. And that could happen, but it's not going to happen so suddenly that you're like, I don't know that framework. But what will happen is you will have to learn that framework. And it's what made a huge difference for me in my career was I worked for a company who would throw random projects at me. And it was the chief technology officer's job we would get clients. And these would be big clients like EA Games or Microsoft or Sony, Tinder, Louis Vuitton. We would make projects for all of these companies. And the CTO, my boss, would decide what set of technology I was going to have to learn to build this project with. And when I started that job, I needed it at the time very badly. So I did not say no. But what I did do is panic, and I would freak out, and I would be super stressed out, and I would try to force myself to get the project up and running as quickly as possible. And that worked, but it didn't feel good. When things started to actually feel good for me and things got calmer was when I was like, okay, this has worked out fine every time in the past. How about I just chill the heck out and take my time and just learn it as I go? And what happened is, everything in the beginning, it took a little more time. And as things continued, it just eased into it, and it was no longer stressful. So embrace the fact that you are going to constantly be learning. What I want to tell you guys is that you're not always going to be learning hard things. You're going to learn the hard things within 3 months or less. We just have to cover all these hard concepts. But after you understand those difficult concepts, you understand them. They're no longer difficult. So when I say difficult, these are the things that are difficult when you're understanding them. But once you understand them, you understand them. No longer difficult. Everything works that way. No matter what tool you're using, everything follows these patterns, right? And once you understand the patterns, everything becomes so much easier that you can go and use a new library or a new framework. And you know that objects have properties and methods, right? So if you need to access a method that gives you some value back, you just you look up the name of that method. If you need to access some property, it's okay if you don't know it. You look up the name of that property, and it becomes that easy. So it becomes less scary when you become more comfortable understanding that you don't need to know everything, and it's okay to take your time to figure things out and learn as you go, because it will never stop. Just because you know JavaScript doesn't mean you know every JavaScript library that there is. There's an endless amount of JavaScript libraries, tens of thousands. So, but also check out what's out there. I would say, just like maybe follow some blogs, maybe check out some YouTubers. Um, if you feel like it, go to hackathons and code challenges. You might meet cool people. This stuff just evolves quickly, and you got to be able to adapt and be comfortable with that. Just relax and don't get stressed out. I always tell my students, every single thing you guys are going to use was made by a person. No person on earth is so extremely more intelligent than other people that they know how to fly using their mind, right? Where no one is that much more extremely intelligent than you. So if everybody can do this.